Welcome back. You're now watching the lifestyle segment on the Weekend Show. According to the State of Entrepreneurship report in 2021, it's reported that 43% of entrepreneurs in Nigeria are women, with another 67% being young people. Like I said earlier, as much as unemployment rate is on the rise in Nigeria constantly, and we've seen it increase by over 100%, we've had certain young people who have worked tirelessly to create industry and also thrive in their industry. Our guest today is someone who I respect, and I remember when there was this show called Runway, around 2008 thereabout, and it was one of those things that in Abuja you wanted to attend, you wanted to be a designer. We have a lot of people who became fashion designers because they wanted to be able to exhibit their stuff on that stage. She has grown and developed herself and also constantly pivoted from content creation to innovation to charity work. And it made me ask, how has she been able to do this for over 15 years? What are the tips and tricks? And how hard has it been? And so joining us today to talk about women in business and innovation, we have
Ogwa Iweze, who is the creative director, Design Clothing. Good morning, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Good
welcome
morning.
To the show, Ogwa. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
This has been long overdue. Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us about your journey. You entered fashion and design at a time when our parents will tell us, focus on 9 to 5s, you need a proper job, and even if you have this, you still need to do this. And the reason why it's interesting is that about 2 years ago, someone in Canada messaged me and sent me design, because in your page, I was like, oh, design babe, and say, oh, I want to buy an outfit from this person, but will it come to Canada? Wow. And I was like, find out. And then 2 weeks later, the person messaged me, I was like, oh, they actually sent to Canada, and the outfit got there. I didn't even have to have a conversation with you.
Yes.
And that shows that you've got your acts together. So tell us about the journey and why.
Wow. The journey has been, obviously, we're in Nigeria, and you know, it's like the ups and downs of doing business in Nigeria. But I have to say that, and I always say this, and I guess people know that I'm big on consistency, because I think regardless of anything, setting your eyes on a goal sort of has to be the first thing you do. Not thinking about how it's going to happen, but just like focusing on that goal, realizing that things are going to be tough. Because I always say to people, like, when you have a big idea, it's so exciting. You're like talking about all the great things that are going to happen, how you're going to be so profitable. But once you start, then everything that can go wrong starts to go wrong. You start to encounter all these challenges, but you have to remember that, okay, I want to achieve this thing. Other people have achieved it, so how am I going to keep showing up every day? And I would say I probably have just kept showing up. And I have an amazing team, because obviously you can't do it alone. I always say to people, outsource as much as you can, delegate as much as you can, because it gets crazy. Realizing that at some point I was in the business, I was doing everything, and then it became too much, so I had to start delegating. And you mentioned Canada, so we work with DHL to ship worldwide. So, yeah, so thank God for where we are today.
Okay, so let's dive into your business itself. Okay. Can you tell us what exactly you do?
Okay, so Design is a women's wear brand. What we do, we focus on ready-to-wear, retail and wholesale of ready-to-wear pieces for women. We have been very big on ensuring, because when we first started, ready-to-wear wasn't a big thing. You must still take your fabric to the tailors, pray it gets ready on time and all that. So putting some sort of structure in the industry, making sure that, because you know, there are all these memes and jokes about like when you give your dress to the tailor, pray fast. So, I mean, obviously we started the business to sort of make sure that we change the narrative and making sure people can walk in and get clothes and making women feel beautiful. So that's pretty much what I thrive on, just seeing women look good.
I spoke about unemployment and how the numbers have been increasing. I know for a fact that you have over 20 people on your team. How have you been able to manage, especially seeing that we're still trying to recover from the COVID pandemic?
So God has been great. I have to say, we have been able to keep having, you know, business come to us. Because obviously if you have business coming, then you have work to do. I would say to business owners, like, you have to always like preach your business any way you can, in any capacity you can. A lot of Nigerian businesses do not budget for advertising and marketing. And that really plays a huge role in making sure your business stays afloat, because the more clients you have, the more you can keep the people that work for you, because that's how you pay your salaries, right? So yeah, it's a, you know, it's a combination of things, but making sure that we keep pushing the brand, keep getting business. I mean, obviously telling people what we do, and every day we get a new client or, you know, someone from the different parts of the world, and keeps us going.
Andy mentioned that you've been in business for about 15 years. So could you share what exactly has helped you so far as a businesswoman, particularly in a society like Nigeria?
Yeah. I mean, I would say there'll be a few things, but the first thing is, again, like if you were starting out, or you know, as we started out, we were very particular about what we wanted to achieve. So I always go back to the feeling that happens when people come out of the changing room. So when they try an outfit and they walk out, if it fits nicely and they look in the mirror, there's a look they have. There's a way that, you know, even for women, when we try on clothes, we start dancing, you know, you feel good in what you wear. For me, that was the thing I wanted to feel every single time. So it really informed the kind of designs we were doing, knowing that if you do something that a woman likes, and she would always come back and she would always be like, oh my God, I wore your dress, and everyone was looking at me, and everyone. So I feel like it's very important to, you know, feel good, to feel special, to look good. So I translate that into the clothes, and every time we design a piece, we always try and make sure that that is translated. And that has carried us through, because you have people coming back, you have customers referring you, you have women saying, thank you so much, you know, you made me feel absolutely beautiful. And I think that that is the main thing that has really helped continue to, you know, inspire me to keep going in the business.
So there's this saying online, let Nigeria not happen to you. So bouncing off on that, could you share, could you share the challenges that you've faced, particularly within the Nigerian society, the Nigerian economy, all of that?
So at some points I used to say power, but now I say manpower. Power is a big thing. Recently, or in the last 1 year, it's been absolutely crazy. Diesel prices quadrupled. You know, just even getting the diesel is, you know, but manpower is actually, I think, more important, because if you're trying to scale up, you're trying to grow a business to, like, you know, international standards or whatever, you can't do it alone. You need a team. You need, like, people in your creative side, administrative side, management, ensuring the day-to-day activities go well, and then obviously the tailors. So manpower, just finding the right people and keeping them is not easy at all. I think selling the vision to someone else and making sure they grab that vision and they're ready to, like, work with you to get to that place where it's like, okay, we achieved this thing. A lot of people just want to get paid. They're not really thinking far ahead. So manpower has to be the biggest thing for me. Power is there. The challenges of Nigeria, we use DHL. Very reliable, but for a lot of people, they say it's not affordable. Then it's expensive. But then again, I mean, I look at the business model of DHL and I can't really blame them. Like, obviously, existing and doing business in Nigeria has its own, because if you compare the price of shipping with DHL in other countries to Nigeria, I mean, you know, it's a bit expensive, but it's reliable. So that's what we use. So we might have challenges here and there where people say, so delivery and moving your goods around sometimes can be tough. Yeah, so Nigeria is it's interesting, but I'm very positive, and I like to also say that because of the type of people that we are, our businesses thrive. We love to go to parties, we like to look good. Nigerians are always, even when you're in another country, they know, like when you come in, they're like, okay, you're Nigerian, I can tell you guys are so. I also try to celebrate that and think about that, and I say it has helped and it has worked because it has kept our businesses going as well.
You know, talking about manpower, this is something which I've also observed in Nigeria. That it's one thing to say there are no jobs, but we also have an underemployment issue where some people are also not employable. And then there's also this wave of everybody wanting to be a CEO and a founder. And so you have put in 15 years. Someone says for you to be successful in business, you need to have done at least 10 years. But people come in, do 1, 2 years and say, you know what, I want to do my own stuff. But when it comes to marketing and advertising, someone who has been dragged recently in social media is P. Diddy. But people like P. Diddy and DJ Khaled believe in be the brand. So if I'm going to support design, I have to be design and all of that. And I speak about this from an innovative angle where I've seen you go from being a business owner to also putting your best foot forward, showing that I patronize myself, I am the brand. And so you've become influential. So not an influencer, but influential in the sense that you now even go beyond fashion and you see other brands coming to you just to put your face and name to their brand. Was this deliberate?
Wow, that's an interesting question. I think like, I always look at life like, you know, your path, like whatever path you're going down will always like, you always look back and say, okay, I saw this or this. So as a child, I loved advertising. It's interesting. So I always used to like, I was fascinated by the Thermocool ad, the Blue Band ad. Those ads, I would be like, oh my God, like, I wanted to be that child in the ad. I wanted, how do they think about the idea? And you know, it would always play in your head, Omo and all those things. So fast forward to even passing an advertising company building, and I was like, I would love to work here. I didn't even know what I was saying, but I remember very well because it was in Lagos and we had gone to visit our cousins. Fast forward to today, I'm still fascinated by advertising, fascinated by ideas behind like how to make a brand look a certain way, advertise a product to make people want to buy it. So I think that greatly influenced me being able to be passionate about brands that I like and products that I like. So what my friends would say is, if Ogwa likes something, you're going to use it, because she would talk about it so much, you know? So that has now translated into me being sort of like influential, like you said, and being able to tell people about stuff and they're like, I'll try it because you said it. So yeah, I think it has paid off for my personal brand, and even also being able to work with other brands and come up with innovative ideas. Social media has helped a great deal as well. So being able to put everything together, and I'm here today and I'm seeing that, wow, there's so much potential. Obviously, money is a big factor. Seeing that there was money to be made from being in that position also helped.
So 15 years is a long time to be in business, particularly in Nigeria. So what mistakes did you make along the way, and what lessons did you learn from them?
Wow. Mistakes. I'd definitely say, you mentioned runway. I always think about like the passion behind business. A lot of people mix it up. It's great to be passionate about business, but that to me is not the most important thing. You have to make sure that you can see potential and profitability in a business, because passion will make you blind. You would always say, this thing I'm doing, I believe in it so much, I love it so much, but it may not actually be business viable. So if you go into something, you have to remove sentiment. A lot of times we're so sentimental about business, you don't think about, okay, how much is this thing going to cost to do it? Is it going to be sellable? So you put so much money, or someone says, I want to have a beautiful space for my store. They invest 20 million. How are you going to recover that 20 million? Are you going to be able to sell? How many products do you need to recover the 20 million and make a profit? So a lot of people are so, the idea of the business is so strong that they forget about the business side. And the numbers are everything. You literally have to be checking your numbers. So if you ask someone, what's your profits, or how much did you make last year? I don't know. So like we're, you know, as business owners, we have to actually challenge ourselves to be a lot more sound when it comes to the business side, because most people are just, tell them talk about their business, they will talk for days. Once it's the numbers and the finances, they're like, I'll check, I'm not sure. You know, so being able to know what is happening in your books is so key. And that's one mistake, I guess, when we started, because it was just passion. Oh my God, let's go to this fashion show, let's do this. Sometimes you're going to a fashion show, the cost of going to the fashion show is more than what you're ever going to make from that experience. So the experience is nice, you're on the red carpet, the runway is amazing, but does it make financial sense? Are you going to actually make money from it? Is it a PR stunt? And if it is, did it pay off? So I would give an example. Some shows we would have gone to could have used that money to do billboards in Abuja instead, to expand the business rather than going to a fashion show. So yeah, so those mistakes we made, I mean, obviously I'm not in that place anymore. Everything has to be, and you would still obviously sometimes you have wrong judgments or whatever, but generally speaking, over time and as you gain experience, you start to realize your mistakes. I think another thing would always obviously be not from the onset, not spending enough money on advertising and marketing. People might say, how can you say that I'm like, no, Coca-Cola still advertises today, so you can never stop.
Samsung still advertises.
Samsung, you know, everyone, like even the biggest brands, Zara, you know, Zara is one of the biggest fashion brands, but they still advertise every day. So
before we let you go, I believe in leaving a legacy and impact, and I know you do a lot of charitable, you have a lot of charitable efforts.
yeah.
One, how are you trying to inspire the next generation? Are you mentoring people? Do you have like a protege? And what's next for Ogwa?
Okay, I think I'm so proud of the people that have latched onto me and followed me, because it's one thing to say you're mentoring people, and I think, are they actually ready? A lot of people say, oh, mentor me, but after 1 or 2 weeks, you even tell them, do this, they go quiet. I have an amazing mentor in a lady called Ekwi. She owns a brand called Celeste Ready to Wear. And I've just watched her become, wow, every day she's growing. And I have a few people who also come to me every now and then, not as frequent. And I have to say that the one thing that a lot of people have to remember is it's tough. You know, even if you tell me today, oh, I have 100 million, I want to start this thing, it's going to be crazy. And I think telling people that has really been, you know, one of the things that makes them realize, wow, you said this thing, like, I can't believe this has happened to me. The second thing for me is, I'm happy that through my social media and some of the messages I guess I post, which come from my personal experiences and the quotes that I like, a lot of people will say, oh my God, this helped me today. I was inspired by this. You've helped me keep going. Because again, it's that thing, you have to keep going. You have to stay consistent. It doesn't matter what happens, you just have to stay consistent. The most consistent person will thrive over someone who had all the ideas and you know, hard work or resources. So I think I would obviously still pass on the message, like, it's tough, but you have to stay consistent.
I like consistency. So what's next for you? Or is there something you're working on now you want to share?
Yes, there are quite a few things. I'm looking to, obviously, as an influencer, like, you know, expand and work with more brands. In terms of just like social media reach, I did have a really interesting discussion with someone from YouTube. So, and I have to say to everyone, YouTube,
yes,
like, why not? As in, so the one thing I say is, like, we complain about everything, but when you sit down, you actually see that there's actually a lot around you that you haven't actually done. So even like from short courses on Udemy, which you can actually just go through some short courses, iPhone photography, blah, blah, blah. We're like, oh, I don't have enough money. But what have you done to actually help yourself? Like, what are these simple resources? People have become millionaires from YouTube.
Talking about millionaires on YouTube, I've been studying Mr. Beast. He makes beast money.
Look, listen, like, there's even some other, I've heard so many stories. There are people just from there. So YouTube pays 55% of the revenue. Once you hit 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, you can monetize your YouTube and you start to make money from advertising. Imagine just making $80 today, $20 tomorrow, $100 every day. But the work is just in the content. So once you put out the content, you start driving traffic, people are watching your content, whatever it may be, there's all sorts of content. You saw the boy who made millions just unboxing toys.
Yeah.
So I say to people, like, you know, things are around us. We're just looking for one thing ahead, maybe some big government contract or something. Meanwhile, you can use what is around you to start actually making money. So very big on growing my YouTube this year.
Ogwa, Iweze, always a pleasure having conversations with
Thank
you.
you so
I'm
much.
glad to finally have you on
Thank
the weekend show. Wish you all the best in your endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, Ogwa Iweze, I'm Creative Director of Design Clothing. I'm talking to us about business and innovation as a woman. That's all for the lifestyle segment. Don't go away. We have a short break and we'll be back shortly.